Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on Capnclydes MTG. Today, we're going to go with some of the hottest, or actually the most expensive cards in MH3, Modern Horizons 3, as we get ready for it to come out and we start our box opening series. What's the big dollar hits we're looking for? Well, let's look at the big ones, starting from the bottom up. Now, we can't go over all of them because, God, there's a lot. We'll talk about that later. But here are some of the best cards to hit in MH3. So, before we get started, don't forget, comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. The comments down below will feed that YouTube algorithm and help just support the channel. Feel free to subscribe as a member, all kinds of other good stuff, links in the description, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, moving on. So, we're going to start with our first thing, which is a fetch land. So, the Flooded Strand Retro Frame is the most expensive right now fetch land for this price. So we'll go over that a little later, but the fetch lands are running anywhere from $20 to $30. Some of them are a little cheaper, but it is what it is. But still, $33 for a fetch land, pretty good hit, I'm not gonna lie. So you gotta admit, it is very pretty. Now, reminder as well, one of the things we're going to talk about on here are just base cards, no foils. Foils can really change the multiplier on some of these, and some won't, because foils are weird anymore. So yeah, also, FYI, we're not going to be going over any extra super duper extended art, foil, yada, 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 so forth and so on. I tried to get mainly the base set cards, but I thought it was important to actually put this in here to show you what the most expensive dual land on presale currently is. So, with that said, our next card is the Nethergoyf. So, like I mentioned before in our previous videos, Nethergoyf is a very powerful card for 1 black. Its power is equal to the number of card types among cards in your graveyard, and its toughness is that +1. It has escape, so it can come back. Obviously, it's going to make it a little smaller if you're getting stuff out of your graveyard, but this goes right into every Death Shadow deck, and will probably generate some decks of its own as a 1 black card, because everything from sorceries, instants, you name it, it's just weird. Number of card types among cards in your graveyard. I mean, this is just quite literally the Green Goyf, except it's 1 black and it has escape. I mean, I never thought they'd make a better Goyf, but here it is. So it's just so weird to see this. Anyway, moving on. So this is on $45 right now with market price of 50. This might dip a little after it comes out. We'll have to wait and see, but it's going to be hard for this card to be cheap because, well, I mean, it's a better Loigoyf. Just better. Next, we have the base version of Ugin's Binding. This is $67. Now, I talked a lot about this card during the spoiler season about how great it was going to be, but this is absurd. Market price is 57. Pre-sale price is up to 67. So this card's in more demand than the current market price. Blue and 2 for the Devoid. Return target permanent to your target permanent you don't control to your owner's hand. The ability to get this to cast out of your graveyard for free when you do something at 7, when you cast something 7 or greater, is just absurd. And the fact that when it comes out of your graveyard, it comes out of your graveyard as a Cyclonic Rift for free. So not only do you get to put something on the battlefield that's big and nasty, you get to Cyclonic Rift your opponent just for the shits and giggles. That can't be that broken, right? So this mythic is also going to be hot. Commander is going to be a thing. It might be that might be the only thing pushing it right now, but I think there's a lot of people that's got high hopes for this card. Moving on, next we have Emrakul, whatever you want to call him, the World Anew. So this 12 colorless 12/12 You gain control of all creature target player's control when you cast it. Flying, protection from spells, and from permanents that were cast this turn. Whenever it leaves the battlefield, you sacrifice all creatures you control. It's insane. Not to mention the madness cost. I mean, you pay 6 to cast it with madness. This thing is absurdly good. And it is going to be broken to beat all hell. And we didn't talk about it a whole lot during preview seasons. It got spoiled real early. But if you didn't catch one of those very first videos when they first leaked out on my channel, just wow. Is this going to get cheaper? Of course, probably not. So, I mean, I'd like to see this get cheaper, but for a madness cost of 6 colorless or 6 waste mana, whatever you want to call it, yeah. I mean, you could quite literally do any kind of looting spell, and then for another 6 colorless, just cast this for free and have a 12/12 that you gain control of all your opponent's shit. Like, Jesus. It's going to be a brave new world. Just, yeah. Brave New World in Modern, and many other formats. Coming soon to a local LGS near you, or your friend's house where the tabletop rules are going to get fucking absurd. So moving on. Next, we have Ugin's Labyrinth. So I talked this card up a whole lot during preview season, because when it was spoiled, I was like, wow. I mean, it's a land. It has imprint. Enters the battlefield, you may exile a colorless card, mana value 7 or greater from your hand. It taps for a waste mana. It says if a card exiled with if a card is exiled with Ugin's Labyrinth, it taps for 2 colorless instead. Tap it, return target exiled card to its owner's hand. Quite literally, you can imprint this and then tap it, put the card back in your hand. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but with an $87 price tag, I don't think I am. And this is going to be a huge card, because not only does it do that for free, but it will tap for mana regardless of if you do this or not. But if you do happen to do it, it's a soul land, which means it taps for 2. This is going to be a 4 of in every Karn deck, and that's if Karn can stand up to all of the damn shenanigans from the Eldrazi, because Eldrazi is going to be large and in charge as well, using the Urza lands. It's just going to be absurd. This is not legendary. You can play 4. I mean, tap, return the exile card to its owner's hand. This is just insane. I don't even know what to say. Get them while they're hot, because if you don't, they're just going to get hotter. So, moving on. Now, mind you, that was the base version. Here's the non-base version. It's only $10 more. Looks a lot cooler, but just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on, this is why I'm going with the base version, because these extra versions are just expensive. And rightfully so, because they are pretty. So, moving on. Moving on, next we have Ulamog the Defiler, 10 colorless, 7/7. God, my pixelation on this is really bad. This thing in base version is going for $103. The market price is $92. It's going for $103. That if you pull one of these in a box, you have just paid for half the box. Well, actually, not even half. You haven't paid for half the box, which is absurd and sad in its own way. But getting one of these in a box is pretty much going to make sure that the box pays for itself. With prices like this, I don't see how this set goes down unless the card prices just plummet, and I'm not seeing it. $92 is the current market price. All the listings are around $103. Again, insane pricing. Next, we have the World of New to kind of give you the idea. The previous one was $60 to $70. This one's $88 in full art form. Market price is $94, but a couple extra listings, I've got it down to $88. So, moving on, we have Ulamog the Defiler, we talked about before. The reason this is in here, yes, I know I said I wasn't going to put anything that wasn't just a base card in here. But again, for reference, this is the most expensive non-foil, non-special treatment card. Like, there's not special guests or etched foils or serialized, whatever, rainbow foil, surge, whatever. This is a card that you can pull out of any pack. $108 and it's out of stock. Not to mention, it is amazing looking. I'd say it's sexy, but I'm just not into the whole tentacle thing. I'm not that kind of anime guy. But the art is amazing, and the card is something else. So, with MH3 coming out here shortly, buckle up, Buttercup, and grab a hold of your wallet because somebody's about to get robbed. Or just you can pay for it, whatever. So with all that said, guys, that's where we're at right now as of Sunday, the 2nd of June. So till next time, be kind. And as always, hope to see you across from the game table. Later, player. Watch out for the oogies under the bed.